Probably one of the most elusive questions for a new player in Hearthstone concerns the concept of tempo, because it is one of the most fundamental ideas to understand if you want to win, especially in Arena. Because of this, I'm going to mostly be referring to the Arena to explain how tempo works. Let's face it, if you've been playing Hearthstone for a while, you've probably picked up on what tempo means, but unfortunately it's still hard to explain. It's one of those intangibles, like being able to aim in a sport. After doing it so many times, you just know how it works. To illustrate this, think of tempo like the swinging motion of a pendulum. Hearthstone is a zero-sum game, meaning that when one player is winning, the other is losing. In order to gain an advantage, you must first take that advantage from your opponent. There cannot be a point in the game where both players are at a collective advantage. To figure out how we can gain tempo, we need to look at our three favorite mechanics in Hearthstone: board control, card draw, and health management. Each class has cards that are specifically designed to gain an advantage in one or more of these mechanics while sacrificing another, like the Warlock Hero Power, which increases card draw at the cost of health management. Remember, think about gaining and losing these mechanics in relation to your opponent. You don't need to vary win, you just need enough of an advantage to defeat your opponent, so try and find that balance between gaining tempo and your win condition. You can also think of tempo as the path that reaches your win condition. When it comes to the individual cards, the best way to gain tempo is to get cards that will trade 2 for 1. This is in fact the very basis for playing the Arena. Let's look at some cards that express this in different ways. Zombie Chow is infamous for being a tempo gaining card. This 1 mana 2/3 can oftentimes trade 2 for 1, and although its Death Rattle heals your opponent for 5 health, it more often than not gains valuable card draw and board control advantage. It ignores your opponent's health, because at the beginning of the game, your opponent will probably have full health anyways. For the longest time, the Argent Commander was a premier tempo card, because of its unique combination of Divine Shield and Charge, nearly guaranteeing that this card will trade favorably 2 for 1. Azure Drake was a good tempo card for a long time, not because it could trade 2 for 1, but because it provided the player with an extra card, and at the same time put a minion on the board. The Harvest Golem gains tempo in another way, where it death rattles into a second creature, forcing the opponent to have to deal with 2 minions for the cost of 1. Lastly, the Black Knight is a legendary that when summoned outright destroys a taunt minion at the cost of 2 attack and 1 health, nearly guaranteeing another favorable 2 for 1 trade. Hopefully by now you're beginning to see a pattern for why certain cards are used in many decks, like Cairn or the Black Knight, for their ability to gain tempo for a relatively low cost. It's also important to understand that combos and large AoE spells can also grant huge gains in tempo, so build your decks accordingly, and watch out for those specific mana cost turns that allow your opponent to unleash one of these on you. For example, turn 7 with Flame Strike. I will mention that with the GVG expansion, many new tempo gaining cards have been added to the game, making it much more volatile to hold or gain one's advantage. And that's all there is to it. My name is Nick, aka Start Now. Let me know in the comments if there is something that I may have missed or could have clarified better. And I'll see you guys next time.